All right. Hello, everybody. This is Haddock, and I will be taking you through this Skips journey today. Today, we are in the preliminary rounds of the Mario Kart 64 150cc Skips tournament, and we have the two competitors, SuperViperT302 and Obiyo. Obiyo is a very prominent DKR player, that's Diddy Kong Racing, and SuperViperT is actually has done a lot of work with skips in some marathons as well, and two things of that nature. Both good, very good players. Obiyo actually has a better no skips time than Viper does, but Viper does have a better skips time. So it'll be a very interesting matchup today. I'm really excited. And just for reference here, SuperViperT has a 29:27 as is listed PB on speedrun.com. And Obiyo doesn't have a listed time for N64, but he has a 30:55 unlisted. So it'll be relatively close, and as some of you may know, with watching some skips in the past, it can really the PBs aren't really going to be a big factor here because so many things can happen in the race. This is kind of like the thing where, you know, as far as no skips goes, like all those little mistakes really add up. This time, those little ones like hitting moles or, you know, spinning yourself out, that's really not going to be a huge factor here. It's just getting the skips, getting them faster, and you know, this will be interesting. It always is. You never know. It's always a crapshoot. So without further ado, I'm gonna let the racers ready up, and then we are gonna get started. All right, both players are ready. I'm gonna count them down now. All right, and with that, we're gonna give it a moment. We're gonna get the stream synced up, and yeah, this is gonna be great because the race already starts off very differently from how a normal Mario Kart 64 race would. And I don't know what version they're playing on, so that will doubly be something that'll be a surprise even to me, because depending on whether you're playing the English version or the Japanese version, you might see them ramp over one of the CPUs to fall into the into the tunnel, or you'll see them turn around and try to do the red shell skip that Beck Abney had found for the Japanese 1.1 version. All right, Obiyo looking like he's going to be starting off just the normal way. Super Viper going for the bump off of DK, but misses it. So looks like they are going to be driving the first lap just the normal style, which can't blame them. I have definitely missed that one in the past. So it looks like they are playing on the English version, which is a much safer version. You know, you could be farming for those red shells and just never get them. So not a bad play from either players, to be honest. Although coming up in the second lap, they have the opportunity to get a blue shell from the balloon. Let's see if either of them go for it. Looks like Obiyo's going for it. Got it. Super Viper spins out and misses it, so he's going to go the long way. So Obiyo does pull the blue shell. Now, being in first, it will naturally home in on you rather. So the blue shell he's going to use to do what they were trying to do at the beginning, which is to hit themselves down into the tunnel. So Obiyo, as long as he does this properly, is going to have that extra about half lap lead on him. Going forward, go in, nice hit, and he's going to fall right down. Nice. Wow, just barely in bounds too. Very nice. So yeah, so you can see that there's no collision on that part of the stage, and you know, hitting yourself over that, or bumping off of DK at the beginning makes a huge difference. In the Japanese 1.1 version, there is collision, and it'll actually you use kind of like a polygon to have the Lakitu set you back behind the finish line while you still pass the lap, which is huge, but not possible in this version. So as you can see, that did make a huge difference. Obiyo just starting Moo Moo Farm while Super Viper had just finished up. So not a large lead by any means, but every little bit helps. Moo Moo Farm does not have any kind of skip available that we are aware of. Really still hoping for that one. So you'll see them drive around. Obiyo missed the start boost, which, like I said, those little mistakes and a no skips is like, like the nails on the chalkboard feeling. Whereas for a skips, it's like, you know what, hit a mole if you want, because it's really not, hey, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. It's really not going to make a huge difference. Making those skips is what's going to win the race here today. And how quickly and how reliably you can do so is really how you succeed. So this is just normal driving. This track is really tough. It has the moles, obviously, but all of the uneven terrain makes it really hard to weave in and out. So it's really, personally, not my favorite track, and most people with any amount of sanity's unfavorite track as well. So nothing too much else to be said here. They're gonna be getting through this one pretty quickly. Also, one of the shortest tracks in the game, thankfully. Oh, Obiyo hitting another one. So that does give Super Viper definitely some time save coming up. Pending he doesn't hit one. I can feel the words exit my mouth, and I just have cursed them so badly. All right. Coming up, Koopa Troopa Beach. This one doesn't have any unintended skip by any means. It does have the cave jump, which can be tough to get because it always feels like the sand pulls you to the side a little bit while you're trying to go straight up, and really nerves get you, and that's mostly what happens. Obiyo does make the first jump there. A little shady, but he got it. And then at the end there, you can see Obiyo going for the 8th place item manipulation. The game, while you are right before you cross the finish line to the right, you can see that it flashes. Like you probably saw it on Super Vipers just now. It says that he's in 8th place, and as such, you can grab those final item boxes, go to the right of the finish line, trigger the items when it thinks that you're in 8th place, and get an 8th place item. Ideally, they get a star, triple mushrooms or a super mushroom. Obiyo getting bad luck. He actually got it both times, but he got triple reds each time, which is really bad luck. Super Viper looks like he triggered it a little later and got the 5. Ooh, but Obiyo doesn't make it in the last time, so Super Viper will make up a decent amount of time. That's essentially the time save of the LR skip, basically. And then other small mistakes. So it is now much closer, much closer. Yeah, we got a race. Many tough ones coming up. Calamari Desert. A relatively easy skip to get, but it's very RNG heavy. They're gonna be going to the first item box and just waiting for a star or triple reds would be ideal. The most ideal would be triple reds and a star. Ooh, and Obiyo pulls a blue super mushroom, the worst possible one you can get, because now he has a timer until he can get another item, which is awful. So the backup is just to use it to get to the next items and then wait for a star or potentially reds. Oh, Super Viper having the same problem. And then blues. Yeah, that's the marathon luck right there. It's when you don't want it. Obiyo gets the reds. Looks like he knows what to do with them. Never mind. But Super Viper gets the star, so it looks like they're coming right back on the track about the same time. So Super Viper is going to trigger the lap skip. So, Obiyo getting the super mushroom. Oh yeah, that's really bad RNG. So essentially, the way that this skip works is that the programmers of the game intended for you to pull a star and then go through the entirety of the cave, but you can trigger this still by going through the inside of the cave, this first part, just until you cross over the lap. The lap, as far if you see where the map is, and you kind of extend out the finish line to the left, where you're in the cave. As soon as you cross that, the Lakitu will tell you that you are going in reverse, and that's kind of like your visual cue. You just trigger the star, cross over that horizontal, and it triggers the lap. So it was actually intended, but not in the way that they're doing it. Obiyo luckily did eventually get a star, so he's going to be just a little bit behind. And still, this next skip is coming up is actually a bit tougher. It's a little bit tighter of a window to get down. So really, even a time difference like this, we're going to see what happens in just the next few stages. Really, it's going to set the tone for the rest of the race. And even so, there's some tougher ones. Oh, Super Viper hitting the bus. So you'll see there that they're going to want to go out of bounds right away. And they're going to try and go out of bounds again immediately, like as soon as they possibly can. And what happens is when you go over that fence, the Lakitu, you're counted as out of bounds. And the Lakitu will pick you up, put you back on the road, right? Now, while the Lakitu's on the screen, or like just above the screen, he's still there, right? And while there's a Lakitu out, he will not respawn and pick you up. And as you saw on Super Viper's side on the left there, during that very short window of time, instead of you being counted out of bounds, you will actually fall through down to the lower part of the track. And you see the track map there is kind of like a figure 8. You're kind of using that T spot, and you're just falling down. And Super Viper, he did get it. He didn't have to go that far, though. Now that the Lakitu thinks that you're supposed to be down there, anytime that you go out of bounds now, after you trigger the lap, he's just going to set you back down there. So then after you get it the first time, as long as you landed on the track, basically, he will always put you back there. So you basically drive half the lap, trigger out of bounds, Lakitu picks you up, puts you halfway down, you just rinse and repeat, and you're done. So you can do that right away. You see them just cross the finish line like Super Viper. Lakitu, confused at this point, doesn't know where to put you. So looks like, yeah, even despite some initial issues getting that, they both got it about relatively the same time. So there's about the same, almost the same amount of gap between them at the moment. Maybe a little bit more. Lakitu is a one-trick pony, unfortunately, and we definitely use it to our advantage many times throughout the run. We'll see something similar to this in some tracks again, such as DK Jungle Parkway. Potentially, you don't necessarily need to see a DK Jungle Parkway, but Royal Raceway, perhaps Snowlands. We'll actually see it immediately after this, and Yoshi Valley is another good example. So this one of the ones that, other than Rainbow Road, everybody pretty much knows because it was featured in a magazine. You just turn around at the beginning, go to the bridge, because the checkpoints are really messed up how they program them. You go out of bounds, and the Lakitu will pick you up back up and put you back on the bridge, and then suddenly you're in first, and the game thinks that you win an entire lap. So it's the way that the checkpoint systems work that it doesn't update the fact that you've driven less than a lap technically at this point, because before you cross the finish line, you're on lap 0, and then once you cross it, you're on lap 1. So you actually cross it, go out of bounds, the game thinks you're on lap 1, but then puts you at the end of what it thinks is the end of the map. It's very interesting, the fact that they didn't catch that at all during development. Choco Mountain, very awesome track. Very awesome, very, very famous as far as the Summoning Salt video with the Weather Tenko. We will not be seeing that trick, unfortunately. for 2 reasons. 1, it's so hard to do on 150 cc's, and 2, it's just not worth it because the fact that you likely will not get it, you just waste a lot of time. Heck yeah, it would be hype, but it's just not going to happen. Super Viper getting the big bounce up over the mountain there. It's really tough because you can get what we call zero from, oh no, Obiyo missing and then getting crushed. Super Viper is going to have a massive advantage on this one if he can pull this off. So you essentially, right where Super Viper is, you just bump the side of the mountain there, and you'll actually get shot up with a lot of height. But as you can see now, when you see them try to jump on the wall and you get it's like the falling animation basically. That's what we call a zero frame. That means that given the speed and the angle, you were not going to be propelled upward to get over the wall. You can see Obiyo didn't get zero frame, but he didn't have enough height at that point. So we call that a zero frame because it's not going to happen. But typically, no, Obiyo falls down. Oh no. Typically, you either have 1 or 2 frames of window to hit R and jump and hit a wall. The lower walls will usually have that 2-frame window. The 1-frame walls, which are typically much higher, you basically have to hit the wall and press R at the exact same time. And then you will get shot upwards and still maintain momentum to get over the wall. That's the basis of the trick on a very elementary level. There's more things about it, but don't really need to get into it. Obiyo pulling ahead at least a little bit now. Let's see if we can. Ooh, just not getting the height. Usually you want to wait until further down, like on the right side of the wall. He just has to care not to fall down again. Yep, he's good. All right. So Viper does have a lead, but still not like, even now, it's still not a massive lead. There's still so many things that can happen. Mario Raceway, we'll see if they go for any skip. This one is like one of the toughest ones in my personal opinion, because the 2 options for skips are you can get a mushroom and jump over the brick wall, or that's right before the mushroom, or you can pull triple reds, which you have to buffer for, and then you can hit yourself over the brick wall right by where the finish line is. And that it's tough. It is so tough because you have to really know like how far reds go forward before it turns around, and you basically do a circle around the finish line. It's really cool to see, but it is tough. So this is a track most players do play a bit more conservatively because, you know, the likelihood that you're going to get it unless you're basically like in the top 3 is nil. So we'll see them probably go for the 8th. There's another 8th place item manipulation here. So you can drive a specific way around the track. Oh, the Super Viper getting a mushroom. See if he goes for it here. Nope, he's gonna play it safe. You can grab the items right before the tunnel, and then you just kind of touch the right side of the wall, and you get 8th place items, much like how Koopa Troopa Beach happens. But if you go over certain line definitions, it'll, you know, not work. So not typical for you to see. And especially at a skips run, it's not very important, much like how it is in no skips. So Super Viper onto Wario Stadium. What is normally like the second longest track in the game becomes pretty much the second fastest track on the game, depending. So you're actually going to see him hit the wall immediately at the left at the crest of that hill. And then you basically do a circle around the finish line. The second jump here is the 1-framer, so you have to hit it very precisely. It's much tougher, and you'll see them kind of line up almost perpendicular, parallel to the finish line, so that you don't get 0 frame. 0 frame is when you see them just get tumbled right there, like I said. So you want to have just enough speed and hit it, and you can just bump it forward. So Obiyo's catching up. This is one of those ones where it can end a run so easily. You can be on like the best run, and this is like the big one of the big gatekeepers of it, because it's not tough to do per se, but when you get those 0 frames for about a minute, it can be brutal. So not something you like to see. You hate to see it, but it can happen. Oop, looks like Obiyo's just not getting enough speed sometimes when you nice Obiyo got it that time. Sometimes basically you just want to back up just far enough so that you can get to top speed and get the jump. And what you do when you are stopped at a dead stop like that is you triple tap A so that you can get to that max speed. But sometimes the game will not recognize your triple tap, and then you go very slowly, and then you bump like halfway up the wall. It sucks. It really does. So onward to Sherbet Land. This is a map that does have a skip that uses like a CPU to jump over a very large part of the water, but that is just not realistic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do at least the quad tap A on that one, absolutely. But this map is TAS only. Major props if anybody ever figures out how to do this non-TAS. If you haven't seen the TAS, go look up MK64 TAS by Drew Rutherton. It is amazing. It is amazing. So we'll see them just play this track normally. You know, much like you know other non-skip maps or courses rather. You know, you can play pretty lackadaisically. Like you don't have to really care. Like, oh, I hit a penguin. Like not the biggest deal, because you know the skips are where you're really gonna get ahead. You know, but obviously if you want a faster time, yeah, you're gonna want to miss those penguins. Super Viper still has a pretty commanding lead at this point, but still too tough to tell. We really won't know what's going to happen even once even once we get to Rainbow Road. If there's still about a lap difference, it could still go to either player. It really does boil down to the final part. All right, Royal Raceway. This is another one of those Lakitu mishaps because they basically mapped certain polygons to update your position, and where the Lakitu thinks that you fall when you hit that certain part of the wall is that you would have fallen from up on the very big bridge here. So, oh nice, and he pulls a boo. This actually is yet another map that has an 8th place item manipulation. Let's see if he goes for it. Yep, he's going for it, and he gets a blue shell. That's unfortunate. Obiyo going for it. Ooh, just a little bit too far to the left. So you can kind of see there's like a crease going diagonally. You want to be just to the right of that crease. If you do not, Viper hits it. If you do not hit that crease, you will not see it. Obiyo did get it that time. You can see that it updated. It updates to first immediately. As soon as you hit that polygon, the game's like, oh, they were on the bridge. I'm gonna put them back up there. So you just do that 3 times, you're done. There's actually another skip where you go to the left of the bridge, and I appreciate that. You go to the left of the bridge. It doesn't save a lot of time though because the Lakitu picking you up. So looks like we have pretty much that same, about a lap difference. You know, like I said, not really gonna make a large difference here. Oh, Super Viper, I think he missed it that time, but Obiyo did as well. Essentially, every time that you miss that skip, it's about 10 seconds you can add on to your time, about every time. So if you miss it twice, you pretty much have lost the same amount of time that you would have saved overall. Just for a frame of reference there. I know because I've done the math on my own runs. So if Obiyo can get this a little faster, you know, there's still about that lap difference. So Super Viper is pulling ahead just a little bit, but like I said, really boils down to every stage here. It's, you know, you can just get unlucky. I feel like Obiyo was a little bit too far to the right on that one. Yeah, he was. So yeah, just aim to the little bit to the right of that crease. But if you go too far to the right of that crease, it's not gonna trigger. So Super Viper onto Bowser's Castle. One of the crazy run enders of most people's runs on a no skips side, and you know, there's Thwomps. They're on a cycle. There's Marty. He's hanging out in the corner. That's the very giant green thwomp that's behind bars for we don't know what. So you can kind of fill in what kind of crime that Bowser would have put a thwomp and a green one at that in behind bars. Very odd dynamics there at the very least. But yet another spot that doesn't have a skip, which is kind of disappointing because of the ultra shortcut that they have in what is that, Mario Kart Wii. I'm not very versed in other kart games, but there are many fan fictions of Marty getting unlocked. Yeah, he's socially distanced. Obiyo getting smashed by the thwomp. Like I said, those things really not the biggest issue here. It's gonna slow him down, yes, but you know, especially now that we're getting to Special Cup. Special Cup is like where it all goes down because and where it all goes wrong, because if you miss DK Jungle Parkway, you can be stuck there for many minutes. So, like I said, too tough to tell. Even at the end of Rainbow Road, I might even say the same thing, unless it's that much of a difference. You know, all things considered, you know, based on the general skill level and the PB times, this is about what I would expect. Ah, ganbare. Arigato. So Super Viper hitting the reset. Obiyo getting kind of messed up by the CPUs in this one. He's hit a few bananas, and you know, it's really slowed him down. So yeah, Super Viper has definitely peeled ahead some extra time. Haha, get it? And this is another one of those strange mapping scenarios. So we're right at the beginning of DK Jungle Park. You actually turn around, and you're gonna want to clip through the wall. And what happens is you go out of bounds at that part, and then you land inside of the cave. He didn't get it because he didn't go far enough. And you're essentially, much like those other ones, you are, those are the stages rather, you're trying to cross over the finish line while being out of bounds, so that it thinks that you went, you know, the lap timer goes up by 1, but then also falling into the cave. So you can see Super Viper is really close to it, but he's not quite there. He's not quite catching the lap timer. So this, like I said, this one is one of the tougher ones to get until you know good positioning. You can see now he did it, he got it, but this is the slower way because he had to fall in the water. The Lakitu will pick you up and put you in there. But you can also see that the CPUs have actually already crossed him over. So this is one, it can take a while. If you nail this, you can be done with this in about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you know, comfortably. Obiyo getting it really quickly. Very awesome. So this is going to be a big turning point. Oh, nice. Yeah, so what Super Viper just did was the ideal spot. He crossed over, but he didn't go at an angle that he fell into the water. That is the ideal situation. So, whoa, that was really weird. Was the boat there on that exact spot where Obiyo? That was really weird graphical thing. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying, see those angles where you can fall into the water? Getting it, fine, especially in a race scenario. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. Obiyo went through, but when you see the Lakitu put you up there, you know you didn't get it. So Super Viper gonna stay in the lead on this one. It was looking kind of dicey for him there for a little bit. Obiyo, he may have gotten it this time. See where the Lakitu picks him up. Yeah, he got it. Right. Yeah. The going into the water situation is a lot safer, no doubt. But you save a lot more time not doing so. So Super Viper is going to do an old strat of going for triple mushrooms, which we may not see from either. But there is a backup that you typically see in skips now. So you go to the right of the stage here, and you try to line up about where you see where we're kind of on that horizontal side again. rather the horizontal of where the finish line is. And what happens is you bump the wall, and you're kind of the game thinks that you're kind of like on the other side, and it just triggers the lap because you go to the left and you cross over the finish line. You can see Obiyo didn't get it because it would have bumped him to the left over the and triggered the lap right away. So you only get that. You can't go back and do it. You only have that one shot. Luckily, regardless of whether or not you get it, it puts you like midway through the track, which is even more bizarre of a mapping scenario. But Obiyo does pull triple shroom, so he can actually do the faster skip. So he's gonna save time as long as he nails it. So you're kind of looking for that yellow spot, and you're gonna line up with the right side of that tree, and you're gonna hit kind of that big crease right there. And if you about hit that big crease, you know that you got it. As soon as the Lakitu sets you down, you skip the lap right away. As the game is so weird with these polygon mappings. I'm just trying to find the spot again. So he's gonna save a bit of time as long as he nails this one. Looks like maybe he's a little bit too far to the left. No, oh wow, he nailed it. Yeah, he nailed it. So that's huge. That's huge. So this is about kind of where we thought we were gonna be. Just a little bit behind. So it's really, like I said, gonna come down to Rainbow Road. Banshee Boardwalk, while being a very spooky track, is not. There's no skips that we know of, other than the TAS does a CPU jump. You can right after the finish line there, you can jump with the CPU and like sail over the finish line flag and fall behind it, and then it skips the lap, much like how some of those other skips work. Very tough. Not gonna see that in RTA unless somebody really goes for it, which is highly unlikely. So we'll see them drive this non-shortcut. The game can be pretty tough because, as you can see on SuperViper's side, the CPUs lay bananas in just the worst possible spots you can imagine. There's really no item you really want other than a mushroom. SuperViper pulling the mushroom helps, and you can feel safe from those bananas. There's a lot of bananas on this track. Wow. Ooh, Obiyo spinning out. Oh my god, he spun out again, but went over the gap on the right side. That is crazy. Yeah, that's wild. That was the luckiest unlucky streak yet. Jeez. So other than that, not too much else to say. You're just trying to drive. Right. Yeah, that's the one thing about placing the bananas on the stage. You always have the option to shoot the bananas off into the distance, and ideally you don't want to be laying them in your way like you see Obiyo doing. It can happen. A lot of times, the CPUs will hit them, but a lot of times the CPUs cheat while they're not on the stage. Excuse me, rendered on the screen. They actually go like invisible, invulnerable at certain parts, and they do not hit anything. Excuse me. So we will see another one of one of the skips that people usually see, which is the large skip jump at the beginning. I like that emote. That's like perfect for this too. So you'll see them go to the left right at the beginning and jump to the other side. And what happens is you'll see them not bounce. And that reasoning is, ooh, Obiyo, he's going to make it. He's going to make it. They don't bounce because as you fall down, you're going to want to be holding down and B. Otherwise, you could potentially bounce off the other side. I've done it too. And it's painful. And it's like the perfect strat for you to not do that. So as long as you got the right spot and you land, you'll just stick the landing and you're set. Now what they want is a green shell, which SuperViper does have. And what they're going to do is abuse the Lakitu's lack of knowing where you're supposed to be. And they're going to line themselves up here, fire the green, and then get enough momentum so they keep up with the green. You're going to bounce off the wall, and then you want to essentially knock yourself off of the stage which is a bit tougher to do because of these stars guarding both sides. Super Viper just didn't have the right angles, so Obiyo is going to have a chance to catch up. But the CPU's actually caught up with him before he was able to do it. You can't get greens unless you are like in first. Basically, there are other chances, but much lower. Once the CPUs catch up, you have to drive around again. So Super Viper does go around now, but you typically have a small amount of time to get some green, just a green. Yes, he got one right as a DK passed him. Obiyo did. So and he got another one. Nice. This might be it. Oh, but he doesn't catch up to it. But he has one more shot. He has to watch out for the CPUs because they can eat that green if they hit it. Oh God, I cursed him, and I am so sorry for that. Yes, this is where it all comes down, because if you fall behind again, you have to do this again. That really would have happened. So excuse me. That is really what it boiled down to. Obiyo could have actually taken it, because once you get that first green shell, you're set. You're in first place. You're on like the second lap, and only have to do it one more time. So that really does make it or break it. And that's why I said it is really going to come down to the last skip. They're hitting it off the wall, but just not hitting the right angle so that they bounce off and go out of bounds. It's not as easy as other people make it look. So, this is something you definitely have to practice. Super Viper just gonna eat that, or rather, it's gonna eat him. But he goes too far. Yeah, this can still happen. Obiyo can catch up. These Super Vipers got triple greens, but it's a little tougher to do it with triple greens because they're rotating around you, and it's not going straight from behind you straight. So he's gonna fire all of them. Oh, but he misses it. Oh man. Oh my God. Yeah, this is definitely the spot when you're on PB pace. You'll choke, and then it's just like, man, I don't like this game anymore kind of situation. But Obiyo get it. Oh, he slowed down, but then he didn't get it down. So this, even despite all this, it's gonna come down to this last green for Obiyo, possibly. Oh, and he gets it. Yes. Oh man, what a come from behind victory. So now he's crossed over the finish line. You saw that he triggered the lap, and it's gonna place him in first at the end, and he's gonna take it. Obiyo. I think I split a little bit late on that one, but still, wow. The 34-37. That was an amazing race. The come from behind. That was a roller coaster, and I know anybody that watches skips races. Oh, looks like Super Viper has designated himself to be done. So still great time. The Super Viper looks like he is a little dismayed, but still great driving from both the players. And like I said, it really comes down to Rainbow Road, and this is proof of that. But still, this was still a great race. I had a great time commentating this. Great ending. I hope that you guys could at least just put some GGs in the chat for Super Viper and Obiyo, because that was a great ending. That was really good. That's actually the end, and we'll see Obiyo, I guess, hop back to his normal game, DKR, like I had been saying. And that is actually going to conclude the race for today. So GG's, Obiyo wins today. And let's take a look. So we have a couple races coming up tomorrow, and I hope you guys come out and watch us. And I will tell you who is going to be playing. momentarily, like I ought to know. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time is going to be me, Haddock, versus Maul. And then at 6:45 is going to be Lewis versus KT the Creeper. And that's going to be at 6:45. So it's going to be back to back. So Abney and Smurfy are going to be doing the commentary on both of those, which is awesome. So come out and see us. I'm glad you guys came out and watched today. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. And we'll kick off the weekend tomorrow. Take care.